Hey, hi guys. What's happening this week? All sorts of stuff. Wow. Uh, Bung that link in there. I hope, yeah, be homework for later. You'll see why in a minute. Um, what's happening out there in the community? Hey, Jason. Hey, Wazza. Warren's messing around on a Dodge Ute. Looks like quite a project. Malcolm Tibbs gone to Remembrance Day. That was this morning here. 11th to the 11th. Stephen's here. He's got a steam engine repair working on there. Go and check out that video. It's a good video, good fun. Rather him than me. Hey, Joe. Hey, Stuart. Matty's finished his oil can build. Nice build, pretty good fun. We've got to talk about vices with Paul from the Knackler's Workshop because he asked a question on his YouTube. Casual Steel, g'day. Craig gets honourable mention today. What else is happening? Oh gosh, Craig, we'll start with that. Craig sent some woodwork, which is amazing. All the way from Tasmania, and I've been working on that. So I've got it all stuck up. It still needs a top coat on it. I've sort of roughly screwed this in and spent most of the afternoon cleaning up here. You can't tell, but I did have clean bench and I've got clean floor. So that's awesome. Looking for a box of drive nails to put this on. So this plate here is 401 ignition and it's got the on-off switch here and a fuse. Basically it's an ignition switch plate. And the spark plugs, the coil and the battery and all that stuff goes down in here. How do we spell the oil can? It's a Rayleigh, is it? Raylang? There we go. If you want to check it, there's your spelling. Quality for the professional, apparently. See, I can read German. I know that's what that says anyway. Good day, Dennis, and happy birthday. I think we owe you a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Dennis. Hey, Nigel. Hey, John Creasy. So, we've still got the head off this, as you can see, on account of not having valves at seal yet, and probably not spending as much time on that as I could have this week. I haven't spent any time on it this weekend, but my weekend's all over the place. At the moment because I'm working split sort of weekends, so I've had today off, which is awesome. I've got a fair bit done today, which means I'm also filthy dirty still because I haven't even had a shower. Mate rang and talked to him for 3 hours, and then that was my afternoon while I was doing other things. So we've got a piece of 3mm stainless steel to go on here, and all I've done is drilled this and put 4mm dowel pins in the wood. So this locates this stainless steel. Probably it needs bolting down, and we might put a bolt in the middle on each end, or a nut. We've actually got like these terminal nuts, plastic lockdown nuts. We might put one of them in each end and put a stud in. I'm not sure if that's going to help anything or not, but it might look nice and it might be neat and stop it all falling apart. And apart from that, when this is all bolted down, it's just going to lift off. So that's where we're at. I've spent a weekend etching this plate, and I was going to fill it with black paint to give it a bit of contrast. I've changed my mind and it's just going to stay brass and patina up naturally on its own because it's really too thin. A plate this size needs to be quite a bit thicker so it doesn't buckle when you try and sand it. Otherwise you end up with the paint wearing off in the big exposed areas. Anyway, we're probably going to leave that as it is. I think that's the verdict. So that's where we're at. This has got a bolt on here. I think I'm going to put a 15mm riser in here, probably out of acrylic or something, black acrylic or whatever we can find, and bolt this down on here, just so that I've got some space under the flywheel here for my fingers, which might be sort of important. If we lift this off, you can see where it goes. We're not getting all the conversation here. I'm going to change this to live chat. Sorry, guys. How we do the etching of the brass, just printed circuit board stuff, iron-on resist, and then printed circuit board etching. It's fairly straightforward. This is a big plate and it's a bit thin for the size of it. Circuit boards are a lot easier than plates, but it looks good. So pump's going to go there and plumb into here, and then we put a filter on here, and then our tank, which is sort of the only real bit left, goes on there, something like that, with a cone on it. So this is the casting I did last weekend, and this is the water pump. This I've just got sitting here. If you have a look, I've got 4 dowels in there, just to locate it. Stop it moving backwards and forwards, and that's nice and solid. I don't think it needs hinging. I thought about it and I thought I was just going to hinge it so you lift it up, but it's really heavy and you're going to jam your fingers in it and that sort of thing. Best just to lift it to one side, leave the wires a little bit long, lift it to one side so you can get in there, I think is probably the best way to deal with that. Hey Paddy. Thanks Greg. So that's where we're at. Still need a riser for this. I've actually done a drawing for that and I'll get someone to laser cut it at some point. That's something that needs to be done soon. This lifts off, and then we've got basically a switch and a fuse here, and battery that doesn't fit this way up. We'll probably either find a battery that does fit that way up or drop it on its side, which I'm not sure about. I don't think it'd matter very much because mostly when the thing's put in storage the battery won't be in it anyway, but we'll see. And there's also a buzz coil goes in here. And I really want to pull these terminals off here that have been soldered on and have this push in here with, like, slide in against the wall. Probably slide that in against the wall over there with a contact on the actual frame here, and another wall here or a divider here with brass contacts and 2 thumb screws, so that that'll just lift out or lift in. If you need to, you can just slide it out, and probably put this over here, something like that. So this is starting to look pretty good. What else has got to go in here? Not very much. We've got some fancy braided wire. I don't know if I showed that. Old-fashioned braided wire. We've got some thick stuff here for a spark plug, which is going to be plenty good enough, I think. And we've got switch wire, etc, 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 and we'll put all that in with vintage wire nicely. Bit of messing around with this, but it should be really good when it's done, I think. I hope. That might go that way, but I don't think it will, so it'll short out. I think that's got to go that way. So slowly, it's getting there. Why not make period submerged wet seals with glass jars and Leyden jars, etc, etc, etc? Mostly because I want reliability. It'd be awesome, and it'd be cool to do those sort of things, but not inside this box. I want something that's going to work, and if the thing doesn't run or it's got reliability issues, that sort of thing, I want to know that the battery's fine, the wiring's fine, everything's solid and good, and there's not going to be any problems. I want to know that none of this stuff, the stuff that's in this box is part of the problem. Paul, absolutely, this will get, I mean, I'll do a video. I've got a video half shot on this that I've been using. I've glued this up today. Also, I'm going to have to find or print or something some rubber feet for this. I'm not sure what to do about that yet. And it still needs a clear coat as well, I believe. So theoretically, this shouldn't be all that far away, but there's still a bit to do. But I have got a video half started. We'll put this way up because that clear plastic should protect, I think, a reasonable surface on the other side. What's going to be interesting is that this will only go one way. Not that it matters very much, I don't think, because it'll only sit together one way anyway. But there we go. That's the carry box, setup box for this engine, and everything should be really good. Can't wait to get it all hooked up and running, and the water pump and everything going, and the engine going. Pretty exciting. What about a magneto? Yeah, awesome. However, at this point, this is probably the simplest, most reliable sort of a system for it. And eventually this will all go together and it'll be fairly nice, I think. It's got wooden carry handles, and this timber, if someone's going to ask, is Merbu, which is a decking timber. It's come up really nice, actually, for a Indonesian timber that's imported and used for outside decks. So big job, but it's starting to look pretty good, and I'm really pleased with this. This is awesome, and it's because of some of my friends and patrons, etc, etc, that this is actually happening like this. The woodwork's much nicer than I would have been able to do myself. It's like really smart. I put these 2 holes in here, and then the 4 holes for the screws, about the limit of my ability, and I'll probably clear coat it, but apart from that, pretty nice. We will find a spacer for this, whether I cut something out of wood or whether we get something cut or whether we get a piece of aluminium cut or whatever the story is. I don't know. doesn't really need to be conductive or particularly strong. It's just got to sit the engine up so that we can get our fingers under the flywheel to start it. But there we go. That's the first project. That's what I've been working on a bit today and over the weekend. It's coming together. Really happy with that. There will be probably a post here somewhere, probably in the front corner here for the spark plug wire, and another post here somewhere in the back for the wire to the switch, which then contacts to the earth through the plate. So the other wire will have to be earthed to this plate at some point somewhere, probably just with a screw in one corner with a nut on the bottom. So there we go, looking awesome. Really pleased with that. Huge thanks, Craig, really appreciate that. It's looking great. Oh, I turned that over, but that's how it looks underneath. It's pretty nice. It's got plywood bottom. It's going to be a seriously solid machine when it's done. But most of the major components are done. There's this little box of bits over here that we're still working on. We've still got valve problems, and I've got some ideas how to fix that yet. We also need to finish this, which needs a brass tank on it. Still waiting for some bits for that. What else? Been 3D printing. We're ready to move on to the next topic. Don't know. This isn't a 3D printing channel, and I might make a video about this, and I've done some shots and a little bit of footage. I'm not sure. This is probably one of my favorite cars. And a bit of good fun. Not a particularly good car. And this is a 3D print. This is a crazy 3D print. It's actually two 3D prints. And it's designed such a way that it's actually screwed together in here. I don't know if you can see that it's got M3 screws. And this is glued the rest of the way up. And I've just run a bit of filler in this today because there was a little bit of lift on one corner of this second print, on this first print, which is a bit of a pity. But I'm not printing another 21-hour 3D print of 22 hours or whatever it was, on the off chance that if I put a raft on it, it's going to fix it. So it was only probably 1/16 of an inch there, and I've glued a piece of filament in there, and it must have been at least 1.7 at the top. I've machined, it's filed up a piece of 3D print filament and put in there and glued it in, and then filled over the top of it, and it's not too bad. It still needs a little bit of paint and some sanding. So this is a 1/10 scale radio controlled car. This gentleman in Czech Republic, probably, don't quote me on that, he may not be, he's somewhere in Eastern Europe, does these awesome CAD files for 1/10 size RC vehicles from Russia and from Eastern Bloc countries, historical and otherwise. And I've been eyeing them off and following them for quite some time. I thought I'd like to build one of them at some point when I'm feeling not only rich, because the set of files for this, which is hundreds of parts to be honest, is quite expensive. And I'm not saying it's not worth it, but it is quite expensive, and I'd have to be pretty committed to start it. And also, until this point, I haven't had enough faith in my 3D printer to say I'm going to be able to do this, because this is about a 30-hour print, all up, 32 hours, something like that. A lot of work in it, a lot more bits in it. It's not This is pretty nice, actually, the way this is coming together. There's another subsection on here, and then there's a bonnet which lifts up from the front. The whole thing lifts up just to service the motor and so forth, which isn't particularly prototypical because I think they were hinged from the centre. It's got diff and drivetrain, all those sort of things, and a front-mounted motor, and it's rear-wheel drive, and it's got servo-operated steering, and all that's 3D printed. Like Craig says, there's no way you would even attempt this. I mean, some people do, and they do awesome work. I'm not that person. This is a major project in any other medium, but in this I can just think about how the print's set up and learn a lot from doing it. There's a little bit in getting this off the printer in one bit from what's basically a computer file. It's not just a matter of pressing a button. You've got to work out how to do it, which surfaces are important and which way up it's got to go, and what support you want to use, all those sort of things. There's a bit to it. And I've learnt, I mean, I'm always learning with the 3D printer, but I can probably just stick this together and give it a sand up and a coat of paint, and then start bolting other bits onto it, and eventually end up with a car that's sort of pretty cool. And we can learn all along the way about printing rubber tyres and gears and so forth and so on. But it's probably achievable this way. If I was going to start out and do this the same way as I started out and to do the Stuart Models 400, I'd be still here in 5 years. I'm thinking about this, you know, and thinking there's some awesome vehicles out there that would make awesome models. I see people on the forum building a German kit, which is the first Mercedes single-cylinder horizontal flywheel engine, and the three-wheel Mercedes car. There's years of work in that. Like, it's crazy. I off steamrollers and traction engines, things like that. Internal combustion engine tractors that people build. Huge jobs, huge jobs. Life's a bit short. Especially to do something you're passionate about and do it the way that I've done the Stuart 400 and get it done like from scratch. That's crazy. Building a kit's not quite so bad, but well, yeah, 54 Dodge would make an awesome model, but getting in and doing it is a big job. So anyway, I've started on this, and this has been most of this week actually on the printer, and I'm kind of pretty happy with the way it's come together. Everything's fitted together pretty nice there. I mean, you hardly even see the seam. I'm going to blow the camera out this colour. It's nice and flat on top. There's no rock, no nothing. I mean, that's really nice the way that fits together. There's a little bit there because this running board's the lowest point here. If you sit this or you have a look through there or sit a ruler on the bottom, it's pretty flat through the bottom. I think it's going to be all right. How much of the Stuart have I cast myself? Very little, about 3 castings, because I haven't got that sort of... To learn that, to learn cast iron casting from scratch, to the point that you can make a casting that has a 7-piece pattern, something like that, life's too short. There's too many other things to go wrong. Not going to happen. Maddie, is filament expensive? I would expect the 4 main prints on this, right? Which is this one, the front, basically the front subguard, and the bonnet. There's going to be change left out of a roll of filament, right? And with another roll, This was actually blue. If you have a look in here, you can see that it was blue at some point, and it might be blue again before we finished, but I thought I'd put a coat of paint on it rather than leave it 3D printed. Another roll for all the other bits, or another quarter of a roll for all the other bits, and I think this model would be complete. 2 rolls of filament, about $100 from Prussia in Czech Republic, because that's the good stuff. It's not the cheap crappy stuff, and I know that I'm going to get good prints out of it. So this model is going to cost probably about $100. I've got a high-tech 5-channel System X radio unit here that was state-of-the-art a long time ago and pretty good. I'm going to hook that up. I've got all the bits I need to do that. I don't have an electric motor for it. At some point I'm going to have to find or buy or get something to do that. But apart from that, I'm really not a lot out of pocket, I don't think. Well, it is sort of cheap. There's filament and there's filament. This is Prussia filament, and this fits together, right? If I had done this with JCar filament from down the street, which is only about half the price, I am suspicious I would have been printing 3 of these to get one this good. So it's false economy, I've decided. So all mine comes from Prussia, and at this point, we'll see how we go. But it does depend on the sort of plastic too. This is PLA. I've got rubber, I've got like harder plastic, PETG and ABS, those sort of things, and I've got like flexible filament and wood filament, carbon fiber, all those sort of things I've experimented and played around with. So there's quite a lot of rolls of filament. Now, bear in mind too that I've been messing around with 3D printers for 5 years maybe, and mostly under a lot worse circumstances than I've got at the moment with this machine I have now, which is amazing. But on my old printer, there is absolutely no way that this would have even been possible. Like there's no point even entertaining the idea. And it's probably I've been following this gentleman who did this design for years, and it's just not been a thing that I would even thought of it entertaining the idea, because I knew on my old printer that this wasn't going to work. There's just no way. So there we go. Other bits we've been working on. This is sort of today's messing around job. This is the internals of the differential. Like it's all ball races. I also bought 10 of these for about $1.10 each or something like that off eBay. This is a diff. If you turn this one this way, the other one turns the other way. You hold this one and the middle turns. So it's a proper diff. It's got 4 gears in the middle on a steel pin across here. It's bolted together. And it runs in a housing, like a solid housing with ball races. And then this gear runs on here. And this runs in the same housing with 2 ball races as well. And then a universal joint to the front. So this is pretty solid. And there's quite a few hours printing in this and a lot of messing around getting them to print. And some of these parts I had to print 6 times before I ended up with one that actually worked. But that's the internal of the diff, and that's pretty nice, really. Lots of fun. So anything's possible, and I would imagine that this is a pretty good design and this is going to be really nice. and plenty strong enough. So that's what we're working on. This goes under here, something like this in here, and it's all spring loaded from the top. The shock housing springs are here in the actual body. But while the theory is that you can sit and forget something like this, you can't really, because you mess around and you watch that printer and you do most things twice, and you have stuff ups, and you've got to work out why things aren't printing and why things aren't sticking to your bed, all those sort of things. But that's where we're at with it. Yeah, Mark, we'd like to see more of tether cars. I'd love to build a tether car or a slot car or something like that, and it would be awesome. But it's a big job. I understand that. Maybe one day when I retire it might happen, but you've got to find a track and all those sort of things, and you've got to interact with actual real people, and I'm not very good at that. So tether cars really interest me a lot, and they're pretty cool, and I've seen some awesome examples of that. They really are a bit cool, but this isn't anywhere near as high tech or as complicated as that. And this is basically just a radio controlled car that's pretty ordinary. So been messing with that off and on, bit of a job. You'll keep updated to this as we go along. I would really like to get the front on this and probably the diff in and some wheels on it and some paint on it at some point fairly quickly, but really I'd like to get the 400 going as well. And I've got a Stewart Progress half built, so we've been working on that a bit too. So there's a lot happening, there really is. So that's summer today, right? All I've done, I glued this last night when this print finished, and then I've put a bit of filler in this, but it needs a little bit more, and I've given it another coat of paint. When the paint's dry tomorrow, I might put another coat of filler on it. Back at work again tomorrow. And then it might end up dark red or green or something like that. I don't know. Don't hold me to green. But something that's easy to spot is probably a really good idea for a radio controlled car. So it might end up cream or white or off-white or something like that. A lot of them are grey and red and dark green Tatra stuff, because this was not so much a 75, but it really was a car that the party would have commandeered to ride the streets and the parades in. And it's that sort of car. It really needs a hammer and sickle flag. Visited the Lane Motor Museum in Nashville, in Tennessee, 2013. I think 2015 I went back. Don't think I've been back since. They've got the biggest collection of European, oddbod European cars or Eastern European cars outside Europe. Lots of odd stuff, Tatras, half tracks, and military vehicles, and like the wartime model with the flat 12 in it, and the propeller on the back, and the the snow skis, things like that. Tatra made some pretty crazy automobiles, and legend has it that they were responsible for killing more German officers in the Second World War as a company than the Allies nearly, because they were all dangerous cars and a bit fast. But you can research that. It's a good story. I don't imagine it'll have real leather seats. It's not going to have any of that sort of thing. So it's just going to be put the thing together and have a plastic paperweight. That's a bit of fun and might work sometimes. So, something else I've been working on in 3D printing, and this is a slow project, right? I know you're all dying to see it because I have published a couple of pictures around, and it hasn't actually really come to anything yet, and it's nowhere near in its final form. And this is something I've designed. Right. I wanted a box for my indicator, and I can make a wooden box or buy a box or something like that, or a tin box or whatever. This is a work in progress. It's getting there. It's getting there. There's some things I don't like about it yet, and I've been messing with it. I wanted a silica gel or a desiccant silica gel, which is stuff I'm drying out at the moment. We'll have a look at that in a minute. It's interesting, actually. I wanted a container for that with a screw-in top. That's something that's happening. I wanted a container for accessories. These are all things that are slowly happening. It's got its own 3D printed rubber seal. Whether I'm actually going to use that, I'm not sure. I'm not 100%. That's flexible rubber filament. I'm not 100% sure I really like it. It's not really soft enough. But we'll see where we go with that. And I'm not sure I like the clasp here or not yet. I'm still jury's still open. But it's probably going to have a piece of foam in the lid to hold everything secure inside. So pretty happy with that so far, but there's still a lot of messing around. It's actually another prototype in the coming into being. This has actually got place here for 4 screw down screws to stop it moving around, and I'm going to put 4 supports here for 4 screws, just to put basically self tappers or M3 screws in there to hold it in place. There'll probably be a piece of like 1/2 inch foam or something to go in here, and eventually we might have an actual case that works. So still working on that, off and on. Not sure I'm taking orders. There's a bit of work in one of these, but I guess it's a fairly standard design and it wouldn't be a big deal to make a few, but we'll see. I've still got to get it going. Still a bit to do. And there's just M3 screws in there, basically. They're probably going to be a bit longer, and they're probably going to have 9 locks on them as well. But that's how that works. That's what it is. Probably like a dowel pin pushed through there would be a neater option and probably just as good. I don't think that they would ever come out or come loose if you made them a snug fit. But the M3s are fairly simple. I've modified this already so that you can get your fingernail under here and open that. There's the seal groove there. Everything's pretty nice. That just clicks over there and pushes in. And same with that one. And then it's got a two-stage hinge on the back, and I'm not sure I like that actually. I would rather have this solid so that it just opens up on one side here rather than hinging on both sides, because it gets all floppy. I don't like that. So I'm still working on this as we speak. The design's coming together. But anyway, what did I say before about this not being a 3D printing channel? This is going to be fun though, and I've really been hanging out to get this finished. This colour here and this colour here were supposed to be the same colour. I believe. They're not. Interesting. Just noticed that. So this is prints upside down, which is this way up, like this, on the board. So all this needs to be supported underneath so that you get a good finish inside, which is what I've got. There's a lot of messing around to get this to the point that it's that sort of quality and that sort of finish, and it's not right yet. Still got to do a mess with this silica gel container to stop the rust, but we're working on it. This is also a bit of a nuisance, and these need to be popped out to put this together like that, and when you open it they pop out automatically, but they don't stay popped out. So I'm seriously thinking to put a cavity behind this and behind that and put a little coil spring in there so that they stay popped out until you lock them in. So that's the idea. I'm not sure about that yet. Still work. No, I haven't. This STL file and this box is still a work in progress. There's still a crazy amount of work involved in it, to be honest. And probably, you want to see how many of these I've actually printed. There's a mountain of bits that I've actually printed, and in all different colours, to get to that point that I've got a print that I'm really happy with. I'll show you. This is some of them. Oops. This one had some issues here on the inside corners. It's really not a particularly nice job. And this was just going to sit in here on 4 posts, and that sort of works, but it doesn't. It's a bit loose and it's a bit awful, and I'm really not happy with that. I'd rather have it screwed in. So this was the first option. This one just didn't happen. There are reasons that this didn't work, and the thread's pretty crap. and there's problems starting here too. So hey Mike. So that's another one. This was the first one of these, and the support wasn't right, and there's issues with this here, and I still haven't got this right. There's also issues on here, it's a bit ugly. That's also a work in progress. This is one I printed in FlexFill, which is a flexible filament. I'm not real happy with this. Pretty cool stuff. But I thought, well, rubber might be the answer, but I don't think it is, to be honest. It's just too difficult to print to do. So while it's cool and sign of awesome, it's still not right. So there's about 5 hours in each one, and that's where we're at with it. So eventually I'll have a box, but I think the box design's sort of right, but I don't like these hinges really, and this case needs a little bit of work as well in the clasp. And as for this, that's not something, don't try this at home because it's a bit of a challenge. Anyway, that's another project I'm working on, off and on, when I've got nothing else to do. The CAD files for this I've been working on, getting somewhere near, and it's looking pretty good. And as far as print quality, this is more awesome. I'm really happy with this, but just silly little design issues that still need to be sorted out, I think. I've been drying this stuff out. This is silica gel and it's wet because it's pink. It changes colour to blue when it dries out. And oven's on over here. I just shift my coffee cup. Coffee's brought to you by JB from Oz today. JB's watching. Congrats on the owner builder license. So JB mug, don't know where you get one or if you can get one. Might be a limited edition thing. I'm going to reach across here. This is dry silica gel. That's what colour it is. So that's the difference. That's how much water's in it. Friend gave me this bottle of stuff and I'll be using that, and that's the idea. It's going to roll all over the table. So let that cool down. I might put some more in and dry that out as well. I don't really want to put this, mix it all up and then have it sort of pale blue again. And I couldn't find a tray big enough to put it all in the oven at once. So there we are. But that's fairly interesting, I thought. Oh, Craig was doing a giveaway. I don't know if you've still got time, but he's a day late. Yeah, thanks, Craig, for the woodwork. I am really pleased with that. It looks awesome. It's gonna be really nice when I get everything bolted down on it. engine will look nice even if it doesn't run. Okay, how long and what temp? Good question. Really good question. I've had this in at 120 degrees and it's been in for about an hour. Hour and a half maybe. I haven't looked at it till now. Probably 20 minutes is long enough. I haven't got a clue. But anyway, it seems to be drying out. Matty's already won. Yeah, I know that. Don't let it go to your head, Matt. There's something you might not win at some point. But you're a nice guy, so we don't really grudge you the prizes. You got to be in it to win it. So there we go. That's what I've been up to this week. What's everyone else been up to? New videos from, who have I seen new videos? There's a new video from Chirpy, who must have gone to bed, or he's busy in the shop, or he's got other issues happening. Who else did I see a new video from? There was a video from Matty with the third part of the oil can build. That was a good video. It's one from Stephen Lang, awesome video on repairing a steam engine. You can have that on your own, Stephen. That looks like a pretty crazy job. I reckon it'll turn out all right though. Who else? Didn't see one from Dennis, but it's Dennis's birthday, so that's all right. Didn't see one from John Creasy either, but yeah, he's busy doing other stuff. Who else has got a video out this week? Gwen's got a new video out on steam engines, and she's got another video on a tool making video. She makes a lot of videos, and it's pretty awesome. But she's certainly got a crazy amount of output. I'm burnt out. Dennis did promise another review video at least, so I'd like to see that. Casual Steel, Dennis Nolan, cutting tool designer on YouTube. Go and check out his review of that little table you just built. It's a pretty good video. You've probably seen it already. Paddy might have one out about supervising roofers. That come from the Discord channel, obviously. Check out the Discord channel if you want to chat to these crazy people. I try not to. They're there and you leave them to their own devices and drop in occasionally and pretend I'm interested. But really, they're a bunch of crazies and they just chat about nothing all day, and it's kind of cool. But yeah, way out of my depth. No, go and check out the Discord channel. Someone will put up a link for it. I didn't put an invite on this video, but there's one on others. I know that. If you want someone to talk to, or mental health day, or some advice, unsolicited or otherwise, go and check out the Discord channel because it's good fun and there's a lot of people hanging there and really enjoy it. We've got like boards, pages for all sorts of stuff, from photography to 3D printing to CAD help projects to Foundry, all that sort of stuff. It's all busy and there's a lot happening there all the time. Check it out. Craig's got a Discord link there. Pretty good fun. Apparently not crazy. So there we go. What else? New Patreon video, I hope, this next weekend coming. I've got lots of footage. I've got Foundry footage. Should be awesome. I've got woodwork footage. should be great. I've got basically putting that thing all together. That'll make a pretty reasonable video, I hope, and we can publish that. That means there'll be another video out on the 400 on YouTube, which I think is probably bore on the cylinder, which you've all been hanging out for. Was something I was dreading, but it turned out pretty nice actually. So there. What else? Don't know, really know. One of my, probably one of the best, not YouTubers, but one of the best artists that I've ever really looked up to. Keith Newstead. Check out his channel. On YouTube, Keith Newstead passed away this week, which is crazy because he wasn't all that old, and I thought he was probably pretty fit, but he's an automaton artist, and he did some pretty awesome stuff. So go and check out Keith Newstead's videos anyway and binge watch them, because they're all about 2 minutes long, and he makes some amazing things, or he used to, but he's passed away this week. So I'm a little bit sad about that, because none of the artists I look up to are really getting any younger, which means that some of you young guys need to come forward and be that person, because yeah, it's can't take a lot of this. Anyway, Keith Newstead's gone. We go on there, Keith Newstead, KeithNewstead. There you go. Morning, Tinker. Whatever you said obviously had second thoughts about and retracted it. That's okay. So there we go. Otherwise, spent most of the afternoon looking for. It's still hot. Most of the afternoon looking for these two. Bought these for another project, and had to buy a box of 1,000 because I couldn't get them any other way in Australia here. I had to special order them. But these are drive nails, little spiral nails for putting nameplates on. So spent the afternoon mostly looking for these to put that nameplate on that box. Found them. So got a box of those. Probably that Keith Newstead. Yeah, the automata artist. Maybe I can't look at that link there, but there you go. Thanks, Craig. What else? Say a lot, but it's a bit like that. Want to get some of these engines finished in a couple of these 3D printing projects that I've been putting off for a long time. Done now. I've got a decent printer and get onto some tool making videos. It's what I really want to do in the moment. I've sort of had enough engine builds. No real progress on the Stuart Progress. Next part, I guess. There was a video went up this week in which I didn't actually stuff up the bolt holes, but I did stuff them up on purpose just to give people a bit of an idea. They would have lined up pretty good anyway. Or good enough. But just to give people an idea, because I hear this a lot. everyone says, well, I don't really want to buy a kit because what if I stuff it up and I haven't got a lathe. I'm looking at all you people there. I've got a lathe, but it's too good for me, and I'm never ever likely to get to the level where I'd be able to make something like that. And that's why I've done this series without the math and without the it's something you can do with a file and a lathe without any problems, and I'm really enjoying it actually. But next part is these two castings. And we can bolt this on. Someone did make a comment that I got this the wrong way around, and I know this occurred to me about 2 minutes after I drilled the holes actually, and I had an hour's time out to think about it, but I've left it. But because this mounts on the side and not that way up, I've got the gland at 90 degrees out. Now someone pointed that out, and if you're watching that video with a view to build the engine, this bolt shouldn't have any problems with interference there. You should be able to put a long bolt in there and one in there, because these should be on the flat side rather than that way round. Anyway, doesn't matter much. Not going to be a big deal. It's going to be up and down rather than sideways. But someone did point that out. So I wasn't going to say anything, but a couple of people noticed and mentioned it in the comments. So I'm going to say, yeah, it's been done, but not on purpose. It happened after the effect. I thought about putting them on bags of 50. That'd be cool, but I'll send some to anyone who might be interested if I'm sending you stuff already. And I'm really hopeless at posting stuff out, and I really apologise for that. Rudy did do a good video or a good series, and if you see any of his stuff in magazines or whatever, he made some cool projects. It's a pretty good job. Him and Philip Duclas did some awesome stuff. And totally, any video you want to make, we'll watch it. I'll even shout you out. Philip's book's amazing. Some really cool projects there. Rudy's books are pretty amazing too. He had some good projects and some good workarounds for workshop tools. Learned a lot from those books. I've got them all here, but I've also got most of the magazines. And yeah, anyway. That's where we're at. No other real things no other progress to actually to mention. It's been one of those weekends. I had 2 days off in which I didn't achieve a whole lot. Published a video and messed around, did some printing. And got an engine base half built. And then I had another day off today. I worked yesterday and I'm back at work tomorrow. So all very cool. And I'm enjoying life and enjoying messing around with this stuff. 3D printing makes a fun sort of a break from metalwork. But today, this afternoon, I spent most of the day cleaning up here. You can't tell because that was a couple of hours ago and I've done a fair bit since then. But we're getting somewhere near. Has anyone got news on Rust and Ox? He released the third video in his steam engine build. Is really nice, and he did answer my comment, I think, on that video, but I haven't heard from him in person. It's very unlikely if you email him that you'll get an answer. He's not an email person. Paul, he will probably do you a short video when he's feeling a bit better and send through to you as an email attachment, because typing in English isn't his thing. And that works too, because they're always good fun to watch. So, I don't know how he's feeling. Hope he's doing alright. He's certainly looking a bit better colour than he was in the last video. But some of that, I suspect, may have been taken even before he got sick. So I think that video series has been coming on for quite some time. So there you go. Russ Knox will read your email, but I don't think you'll get a reply if he's not feeling 100%, to be honest. Otherwise, I've got parcels to go out to people, and I have been pretty slack about it. I apologise. Anyone who might be watching this who was expecting a parcel and it hasn't turned up, it's either posted and it's lost in the post. There is one in particular I know that I haven't seen for a while or heard any updates on, and that's going to Knackler's workshop. Paul, it is on its way, but there are other parcels that I haven't posted because I'm slack. Look, he'll be. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him this week or next week on live stream. And he might be even be there if he's only got his phone. He might not be actually chatting. So, give him a gap, and I reckon we'll hear from him at some point. But if you do watch this, Russ Knox, we are missing you and thinking about you. Matty got a picture of Mr. Lang's precision stones. You know you made the big time, Stephen, when someone calls you Mr. Lang. You just sound like a tool maker now. You expect a dust coat and a tie, and those stretchy things that go around your arms to push your sleeves up. That's what we expect next, Stephen. That's the next justifiable step in becoming Mr. Lang. Look, the books are awesome, but Village Press publish them still. If you can afford them, buy the solid books. And there are reasons I say this. Getting things for free are cool, and especially books that you only want to read and probably never going to make anything out of. But Village Press are the people who publish Home Shop Machinist and Projects in Metal and a couple of other magazines. And if you support them, then those magazines and those sources, which I think are still very, very justifiable, viable information sources, will continue to be a thing. Downloading the books over the internet doesn't really help with that. So scolding's over, but I think if you can possibly afford the book, buy it and put it in the bookshop, because they're awesome to read. That's what I'm at with that. Also with Model Engineer and Model Engineer's Workshop, I do have a actual live subscription, or yeah, live subscription to both magazines. They take up a lot of space. They're awesome reading. I read them once and put them in the bookcase. If I'm looking for an article, I go back and read it again. If I build something, I probably get it lives on my workbench for 12 months. But I know that Model Engineer and Model Engineers Workshop are really desperate for articles. So if you want to write something, if you think you're that person that can take pictures and write articles, I know they do pay for articles, and they're desperate for content. So if you make a YouTube channel and you've done something cool and you want to write out and do an article for a magazine, pick one of those, because those two will give you some sort of remuneration back. You get to see your name in print, and it helps the magazine keep going. And I think that's important, because Model Engineer is, I think, the world's oldest continuously running technical publication. Anyway, that's where I'm at with that. My own personal thing. I can't afford to buy all the books I would like to buy, and I do have digital copies of some of them, but it's really, really nice to be able to, if you can, spring some cash for the real book to have on your bookcase, because Rudy's books in particular have got some awesome projects in them. Anyway, that's where I'm at. As far as writing magazine articles, I'm really pretty crap at that. It's not something that I'm very good at all. Been there, done that, tried that, not good at it. Commitment issues with that one. But I know some of you are more than capable of it, and you really ought to. No pressure, but some of you are more than capable of exploring that medium and making some awesome reading material and getting your name in a magazine that can actually have physical copies sitting on your bookcase. It's awesome. Anyway, that's me off my soapbox again. Sorry about that. I do apologise for it. Didn't mean to make anyone feel bad or anything else. Digital copies are nice, but yeah, printed copies are nice too for a few reasons. Take it how you like. Take it with a grain of salt. Take it how you like, because I really don't. I'm not going to lose. You're not going to be unfriended or anything because of it, or ban blocked from live stream if you say you got a digital copy. It's not a big deal. It's just think through your decisions on that. If you can afford the book, get someone to buy you one for Christmas, because they make awesome Christmas presents. Buy your wife one for Christmas, and then you'll be able to you'll have a book, because she won't want it. What else? Nothing. Nothing really. I think I'm about done. Probably. On that sort of on that note, I didn't mean to be like that, but there's something I am a little bit passionate about, because Model Engineer got me through. Before the internet, Model Engineer was my main source of technical information, and I bought any possible Model Engineer magazine that was available, whether I had it or not, from any time in the last 100 years, and sorted them out and put them all in order, and then read them through cover to cover several times, and got rid of the duplicates. Look, here's the thing, right? I had today off. right? It's Wednesday. I don't ever have Wednesdays off. It's the first Wednesday I've had it off. The second Wednesday I've had off this year, right? Last one was on holidays. Now, the next door neighbour got the lawnmower out about 1 o'clock and mowed the lawns, as he does every single day. Now, it is now 9 o'clock here. It's late. It's 9:15. It's dark outside. It's fairly cold. That noise you just heard was someone running around the lawn with a lawnmower. It just started up to put it in the shed. So, yeah. Next door they have nice lawns. Just a little bit of gas that every single time I start a camera, the lawnmower starts. Who does the lawn every day? That guy next door. There you go. Don't know anyone else. He may not do them on Thursdays or Tuesdays, I'm not sure. But I have heard the lawnmower on Tuesday. I've never been here on a Thursday or Friday, so I can't vouch for those days. Don't know. Anyway, I'm out, I think. Thanks for tuning in. Awesome to catch up with you all. Good to see what you're creating on YouTube, etc., etc., and look forward to seeing some magazine articles from all of you. And and if you have been published, send me a link so we can have a look. And yeah, click the like button and subscribe and all that sort of stuff if you're new here. If you're new here, you lasted this far. You're beyond help. So just click the subscribe button and yeah, we'll help you get where you're going. And be kind to each other. The face of the world is changing as we speak, and it's an awesome thing, really, in some ways, and probably not so good in other ways. But that's open to personal interpretation. But the best you can do is sort of say, you can be nice to people next door who start a lawnmower in spite. That's about all you can do. Anyway, I'm off. Take care. Prattled on long enough. And we'll catch you next week. Probably a video or two before then. No, I'm out. And good to see you last to the end, Dennis. That was you I was talking about.